I'm asleep. Like stress makes me sleep. Depression makes me sleep. So it puts me to sleep. It does the
That's
opposite.
kind of normal, but I would be curious to know if you're getting quality sleep.
I don't know.
Welcome back to the Christian Women's Health Collective podcast. We are so glad you are with us. This is the first podcast of the month of November, and this month we are focused on the detriments of not sleeping enough. That's just really hard for me to say for some reason. Sherry is going to open up the podcast with her take on what lack of sleep can do to us. Miss Sherry?
Lack of sleep.
Right?
You're feeling it.
Just saying. I mean, the last so many
Words
days.
are hard all the time.
All the way across the country twice. So, so the detriments of sleep, there's actually a lot of detriments of sleep. When we sleep, it's really the time that we get healing in our bodies. We get healing in our minds, psychologically, physically. There are certain hours that we should be sleeping, and I guess, and there was a little bit of talk about, shift work, and if we're not getting a good sleep, which we're supposed to get it during certain hours, to get the best sleep, but for our bodies. But then also with the lack of sleep, we're also get to the point where we make bad choices. We make bad choices around what we eat, and we make a lot of bad choices around eating a lot of sugar, or have carb cravings, or salty cravings, or both, which I can definitely attest to. But we also make bad choices around things that we do day to day in our lives. We might be more snappy. We might, just not have, enough. I don't even know what I want to say. We're just not making good choices in our relationships and driving or whatnot. So those are some of the detriments, and pass it on to Julie.
Well, I think about, when you're not getting enough sleep, I think that's depriving your entire body. And I can't help but to think about my husband, who was a shift worker for so long in the fire department. And what we had to do is to find a routine, because when he left the fire department and now that he's off a shift, sleep was everywhere. But it did. It interfered with our day to day. It interfered with our marriage. So we had to make changes. And part of that was trying out a weighted blanket. It was trying out melatonin. It was, stopping our habits, making some changes to it, going to bed earlier, or now we wake up early. We go to bed early and then we wake up earlier. But it's taken a while to build that routine. But I think the benefits of it is the happiness. That's the real kicker is, and I think you mentioned it, but just the happiness together. We can tell when he doesn't get sleep. So, and I think the other thing was mentioned is like, how much sleep are you getting? And a lot of times we don't know. So I think that's, it's hard for us to see it because we may feel like we're sleeping. But I would just challenge you, if your family is like, you're still ill all day, or if you don't feel like you've gotten enough sleep, then to see what else is going on there. Because I do know with shift workers, a lot of times they have sleep apnea or something like that. So it's worth checking into so you know. But yeah, our routine was the big change for us, changing that routine. And the weighted blanket has been the biggest game changer for sure.
That's cool. Go ahead, Brianne.
I have a weighted blanket. They are nice.
They're super nice. I just want to touch on how lack of sleep affects every part of your body. And a lot of times for people who are stuck in their weight loss or their health journey, it might be sleep related, because that can destroy your health, not getting enough sleep and not getting quality sleep. So even if you're getting sleep, let's say you have like sleep apnea or something like that, so you're not getting quality sleep, it can still destroy your health. Because there are so many studies out there on sleep, because it's a necessity. God created us to need sleep and rest, and sometimes we have to listen to our bodies and rest. And that's okay. That's a good thing because it resets your hormones, your brain, heals your body, does so many things. And if we're not sleeping, then we're not doing those things, right? Our brain is not getting cleaned that night. Our hormones are getting all out of whack. And we start having, sugar cravings. We get, sorry, you're gonna have to cut this.
Lack of sleep.
Hormones.
This is lack of sleep right here. Why can't I think of the word? Okay, whatever. You're gonna get my brain just stopped, guys. Whatever. Your hormones will get, I got nothing. Where was I going with that? Somebody help me.
I was thinking, like, when you're talking, I could vision like your hormones fluctuate, like you're not going to get a leveled balance.
They're going to be out of balance.
Yes. Okay, yes, your hormones will be out of balance, and every single hormone in your body interacts with other hormones. And so if one is out of balance, then obviously the other ones are not going to be in balance either. And so you start having issues with insulin and diabetes and weight gain and your cycle and just all kinds of things. It's all interactive. Your thyroid, like your melatonin levels, like just so many things get out of alignment in your body if you're not getting the sleep that you're supposed to get. So it's incredibly important for your health. And if you want to learn more about sleep hygiene and how to get the best night's sleep and improving your sleep quality, then come inside the room.
Yes.
All of those things. We're so excited to help you get better sleep. I'm super passionate about people getting the right amount of sleep. It is one of the best things that you can do for your health, for your life, for your future, everything.
Yeah. I do want to say this, and I know this is, not a topic that we want to dive into, but I do think that maybe there's some split families out there when it comes to kids and sleeping, like maybe one parent is like, our kids need a nighttime, they need a routine. And then another parent that may be like, oh no, just let them do. No. That routine and that sleep for kids helps to regenerate, it rebuilds, it renews, it restores. It's almost like the defrag to their body, they're growing. You've heard people talk about kids when they're sleeping, how they're having a growth spurt. And just think about you're cutting that time off. And so you're almost like pushing through that growth spurt. And so children need that. They absolutely need the structure, but more importantly, they need a full night's sleep. So if there's anybody out there that struggles with that, there's science behind it. It is needed.
Well, as the person who focuses on brain health where sleep is concerned, I kind of want to touch on what Julie just said and say this too. If you're a parent to an infant child, a lot of times parents want to believe that they need to, in those first 6-7 months of a baby's life, get them on a sleep schedule. So they'll wake them up and make them stay up and, try to get them on their sleep schedule. And actually by doing that, you're creating, this is so not politically correct, but it's true. You're creating retardation of brain development. So not creating a child who's mentally handicapped, but slowing down brain development. And so much so that it's one of the reasons that we see so much more ADHD now and other learning disabilities, dyslexia, some levels of, high functioning autism can be caused by that. So, brain health starts in the womb, but it also, and when a baby is in the womb and we think that the baby is awake because it's kicking us, it's actually just moving. Babies sleep almost 100% of the time that they're in the womb. They're very, very seldom awake. And when they are awake, it's in the 3rd trimester. So all that movement you feel is just the growth happening in the twisting and turning, but they're never really awake. So that's where it starts. And so if you think about how important brain health is, even from that point of inception all the way up to later in life, then you have to understand that with not getting enough sleep, the damage that's being caused to the brain, the inability for the brain to clear itself up and clean up any plaque that's built up or reconnect memories and make memories, all of that is gone if we're not allowing ourselves to get the proper amount of sleep that we need. And like Sherry talked about, sleep in the hours that we actually need to be sleeping to get that healing. And there are structured hours, believe it or not, that you need to sleep for your brain to heal and heal properly. So yeah, I think all of us are super passionate about sleep. We all make it a priority in our lives. We've learned that Julie gets better sleep than any of us, and we are keeping Sherry awake to do this podcast because we're in 4 time zones. If you don't already know, we were together this past weekend in Florida, and it was a magical experience being together with them, blessed by God for sure. And we're so grateful to be able to put these podcasts together for you all. Does anybody else have anything that they want to talk about on sleep this week? Otherwise, we'll close out and go deeper in the weeks to come.
I think we want to, we are going to dive deeper in more podcasts, but in the collective itself is where we're giving a lot of how-tos, get better sleep, right? And that's what we're really diving into with our, the women in the collective. So if you do have issues with sleep, and so many people do have issues with sleep, and you need to find out more about sleep and how to have better sleep hygiene and get more quality sleep, because that's really what it's about. Come join us.
Yeah,
we would love to have you.
The membership is solution based, and we go way deeper in the membership than we do in this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So join us. And then if you hear this podcast and you're like, well, hey, I want to know what you think about this, or what you think, I want to hear y'all talk about this topic. Well, then let us know.
Comments.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week for another episode on sleep. And if you didn't check out our sugar episodes from October, I highly encourage you to go back and do that. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, and click subscribe and check the notification bell and keep up on the episodes to come. See you later.
Follow and share.
Bye.